today I'm going to be plastering this boardwork that was done by a handyman, which can be fine, you know, it's not a problem, but you do need to be aware that when it's not done by a professional, there are things they might miss and there are things they probably won't know. It sounds straightforward, sounds simple, let's stick some board on, but you have to have so many screws per board, they have to go in a certain depth. They're the main big ones. You have to make sure the gaps aren't too big, for example. All these things will contribute to cracking and plaster failure. And if you've not done the plasterboard, you can't really guarantee the plaster. Although one way to guarantee it is, of course, to give it a thorough examination and check it, which is what we're doing on this one. And I will show you straight away some issues. So you see here, they've got a few screws in. Not quite enough, but they've got a few. But what they've done is here, I don't know if you can see that, they've torn right through the board. And they've done it with many of them. Once you've gone through the paper like that and you're inside the board, you've lost 50% of the strength of that screw. So all of these need another one. Let's see if I can find one that it's meant to be. And that's a particularly bad one. It's almost completely buried in there. So that is a big no-no. It's a classic. It does happen, they do pop, but when this does happen, you want another one right next to it, flush. Here, we've got a good one over here. So again, bad one there, but this one, that's what it wants to be. Just nice and flush with the board. So we're gonna sort out these. Collated gun makes light work of it. This is my beautiful prehistoric Festool collated screw gun. Still works. I must say, I'm a big fan of the DeWalt version. This is a very, very trusty old Festool one. Of course, it's got to be 10, 15 years old now, and it has lasted amazingly. But compared to the modern stuff, it does weigh a ton. also point out, depending on the quote you're given, some plasterers would not allow to check the walls and reinforce them, add more screws if necessary, so it is something worth checking. with the plaster beforehand. That's looking good. Okay, got another real pet peeve of all plasterers, and they all hate this, myself included. You see this screw here? See if we can focus. That, if you don't notice that and you go over it with your trowel, you have just broken and lost your precious trowel. So one swipe over this, you see that? You can get properly stuck under. What you want is this one here. It wants to be nice and smooth. Not this one. Bad, very bad. Also very bad. Look, you can stop it there. You want this, the bottom one there, that one I've corrected. Another common mistake or potential weak spot. So a professional plasterboarder or plasterer would never have a line there. That is a very strong weak point. They would take it across here and cut an L out. Same over here. That said, this is quite common. We do see it a lot. We will scrim it with our fibre tape and hope for the best, but that is a high risk of cracking because of the door. So in my opinion, a big no-no. Certainly something we try very hard to avoid. Ready to plaster, but how do I know how much to mix up? I just look at it and guess. A lot do. But the most accurate way is simply measure the wall. You've got the length and the height. Quite an easy one. 2 by 2, so that's nice, super easy, 4 meters. And then here, measure either side, and along there, and along there. So I know that is now 6 square metres. And if you want 6 square metres, you basically do 0.6 of a bag. So basically just over half. I would probably do 2/3 to be on the safe side, because I'm going to want to make sure I have enough. And it's a pet peeve of mine to run out whilst I'm putting the coat on. So I'll always do a little bit extra, a little bit more. But yeah, with plasterboard, it's very accurate. When you're doing renovation work over existing, you tend to use sometimes 1/3 more, maybe half more if it's a real bad ceiling or wall. But typically you use more on renovation work, and 10 square metres per 25 kilogram bag of Festool multi-finish on board work. It's a good rule of thumb. This has had a good 10 minutes. It's starting to firm up. Like I was over it with the speed skim. Now it's worth noting, when you speed skim, you don't want to be taking any off the wall. You're just flattening it. So if loads is coming off on here, which can happen, you've probably gone over it too soon and it's too wet. So, bit of patience. Combined with perhaps a steeper angle. Sometimes if you too square onto the wall, it's going to take a lot of gear off. So you want to keep it nice and tight to the wall. That's not too bad there. And this, you probably can't tell from here, but there's a sweeping curve here where we're going to the original, because this is a very old quirky house. So we've got a sweeping curve. Beautiful. when is the best time to remove the tape? That is the protective tape all around here. I don't know if you can see this. So, all this tape, when is the best time to remove it? And the answer is, in my opinion, after the second wet trowel. So I've just given this its final wet trowel. So all that's left is maybe 2 more dry trowels. So no more water's going on the wall, basically. So I can now pull all this off. It's still wet enough, it's still sort of soft enough. If I ding it or notice anything, I can repair it and fix it. So now is a great time. After the second wet trowel, remove all the protection. At least that's when I do. And then a beautiful door. Now, yes, you could be neat and tidy and try and avoid that, but it's never going to look as brilliant as this. So this just looks so much smarter. Again, professional. It's a professional touch. There we go. And then you can see there's a bit here. And that is looking fantastic. And now this wants another 10, maybe 15 minutes. Now it's had the second wet trowel, I will also go around all the edges, cleaning them up with wet wipes. I quite like grime wipes, my favourite. There's a few different ones, but they're all great. I like the grime wipes. So I'll now go around cleaning up these. Again, after the second wet trowel, it's hard enough so that it doesn't get dinged easy, but also soft enough that you can repair any bits that you notice that have missed or pulled off. Okay, and there is the wall. You see you've got a nice crisp finish here with the tape. Beautiful.